All right, back again for MacArthur's War MDG games. And we are now on the communist phase of October of 1950. And this turn we'll probably see the North Koreans attempting to entrench. A little backstory here. The North Korean spearheads got almost to Busan, but then the UN came storming back. Not quite an Inchon. They did come across here. We just completed in the UN turn destroying the last of the pocketed spearheads, but in the meantime, the North Koreans are trying to recover and actually entrench here. Current situation, keep going for the wrong map here, is it's all about the escalation ladder. Right now we're police action, which means only allowed combat in South Korea. The UN can't cross the 38th parallel yet, and nobody's probably interested at this point in time in doing that. So the battle is limited to south of this line here, and it all boils down to the UN to win at the current scope needs to capture Seoul and Incheon for a total of 4, 2, 3, 4 victory points. They're at -3 here, so that would get them a +1. If they can't take all of these, then the North Koreans potentially in 1951 using the stalemate rule, which or the stalemate challenge. Basically, they can say if they stay here entrenched, we challenge you, and if the UN can't capture a victory point hex within 2 turns, the game ends, and if they're holding any victory points in South Korea, they win. But then at some point, both sides do have the option to escalate and go and bring the North Korean comes into scope. The Chinese then come in, all these victory points are available, and that would change the dynamic completely. So we'll see what happens. But at least for this turn with the North Koreans, we'll keep this short and sweet. We're going to go ahead and do their turn. They're basically going to entrench along this line or protect this line. This is a strong position with this river here and the Korean border. Basically, all units attacking across are halved. So they want to hold this river line, and then they want to hold Incheon from a possible invasion. Not to say that the UN couldn't invade back here, but that's where it's at. So, weather phase, it's rain, so everybody's got a half movement. And as I discussed, no escalation, no air for the communists. Reinforcement, they do get 2 replacement points. All their units are at full strength. So they're going to recover some units. They come back at 1. So we'll place that and flip. And it looks like the armor unit's down here. We'll bring that in. And flip. Okay. So that's the 2 the 2 replacements, and they'll move up to probably here, and then next turn they'll get the next 2 and they'll be at full strength. So that's the end of the reinforcement phase, replacement phase, strategic movement. They have no units to move strategically. There's no offboard conflict. So it's movement, and it boils down to, with mud, these have 4 movements, so it's 1, 2 to cross, 3, 4. And this one's the same. So that's there. And then they need to get out of this mess, or at least this unit appears to be surrounded. Next turn, if it stays here, we'll get eliminated. Can't move here because that's Zoc to Zoc, but this Zoc is contested. So this Zoc has no effect here, so this unit can effectively move 1, 2, 3, 4. Screening the border, can't be attacked if the scope doesn't change. And then we have this unit, and this one's, see, this is, if I'm looking at this, I don't think I'm going to move any of this. I'd love to put more on Incheon from an invasion, but currently I don't think next turn the UN can invade. Their marine unit here isn't on a port, and their marine unit here hasn't moved into the Korean theater. So we're safe from an invasion next turn, but this is the weakest link here. If they can get units here and attack and get across the river behind Seoul, cut things off. So at the very least, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So now they can only attack from one hex, but once I put on the UN hat, that would be tempting to look at loading these guys up and putting them there. Again, I could then move this unit over here, but then Seoul would be tempting too, so we'll see. That is obviously a dangerous spot there, so that should pretty much end the communist turn here. Hide the movement, so just assessing. Yeah, they're trying to hold this line. This would be a great spot. It would have been nice to get somebody here from a supply point of view. Maybe I could have pulled, well, we'll just let it ride here. And we'll see what the UN does next turn. So this is a short one, just getting back on the saddle here after stopping recording for a while. So bottom line, the North Koreans are entrenching, getting more replacements, strengthening their line. The UN, well, we'll see next turn. It's probably going to try and blow across the river somewhere and see if they can break into this area here. So we'll just see what happens with the weather and everything next turn. So that's going to end the recording here. If you like this, please click like. If you want alerts when I post new recordings again, please subscribe. Otherwise, thanks for listening, and hear you at the next one. Thanks.